walk in. I've dimmed the lights in the back. How many of you have ever been to or have experienced or seen a satsang? This is a pretty traditional satsang. That's what we're going to be doing tonight. So I'm going to invite you to get into your center. Take a nice deep breath. Silence in satsang. Sat, to know, sang from sangha, community, to sit in knowing community. Silence in satsang is very powerful. The energy tonight will be different than it is the other nights or on Sundays. And you're just going to notice that as the evening goes on. During this hour, you're just going to feel that you're going deeper and deeper. And also, you might feel that your consciousness isn't really with your body. That's okay. Some of us might welcome that right. And interesting things come up in satsang. So we're going to do things a little different tonight. We'll start out by having you take your gift to sacred space and just holding it between your hands. So that gift, we're doing satsang tonight, please. So that gift that you're holding between your hands, because you know there's only one in the room, only one, and that's awareness. And awareness has no lack, because you're creator. You can't create everything and be in lack. So we're just going to really enjoy that feeling as the baskets come around. And as they do that, I'm going to read to you a little bit from Nirmala. Nirmala is a teacher who does satsang in the traditional Hindu style, which is what we're doing tonight. So as I'll be talking, there'll be music, and then I'll be talking, and there'll be a time where questions will arise for you. They will come up, and you can ask them. And one of the things that you do as the one who holds the teacher position, which is what I'm doing tonight in satsang, is you'll notice that I'm not quite here either. I've set up energy and I'm starting to float away. And so you'll just notice that. If you are used to talking with me, you'll just notice it's a little different. And that's okay, because as I put on Facebook today, I had a wonderful thing with meditation and that feeling of oneness and bliss. And so as you kind of come back from that and go into that, it's just that in and out sort of feeling. And I invite you to take that journey with me. Here's what Nirmala has to say. Nirmala has to say about satsang. Because at the heart of satsang, what is the most important part of satsang or any spiritual gathering? Contrary to what you might expect, the most important thing in satsang is not the spiritual teacher sitting at the front of the room. A true spiritual teacher is an invaluable blessing, but the teacher is not the most important element. Similarly, the spiritual teachings being shared in satsang are a great gift, but the words being spoken and the wisdom being shared are not the most important thing. And while the word satsang implies a gathering or community of like-minded souls, this community or sangha may be a tremendous support in someone's spiritual journey, but it is still not the most important thing. The most important thing in satsang is you. You are satsang. Not, the you that you identify with, like Patricia, but the mysterious awakeness that is reading these words and hearing these words. That is what satsang is all about. The purpose of gathering is not to provide devotion to the spiritual teacher, or to acquire spiritual knowledge, or to enjoy the company of others, although all those things may happen. The purpose of gathering in satsang is to bring you home to yourself. What is the beautiful mystery of awareness right here and right now? That's what Nirmala asks us. How do you know what you are feeling right now? We'll be exploring that tonight. The light or brightness of awareness is shining out of you right now. The ultimate mystery of awake consciousness is here experiencing this life you are living. That is what satsang is ultimately about. I'm going to read you these words from him, and then we're going to take a nice deep breath. And Rebecca and the music team is going to play us something. Truth is too simple for words. Before thought gets tangled up in nouns and verbs, there is a wordless sound, a deep, breathless sigh of overwhelming relief to find the end of fiction in this ordinary yet extraordinary moment. When words are recognized as words and truth is recognized as everything else. Nice deep breath. Close your eyes and just listen to the music. Namaste. Do you ever wonder who you are? Or who it is that's having this experience? Do you ever ask yourself, who am I? Sometimes we ask ourselves, who am I? When we're feeling really blissed out, when we're feeling really connected. But how often do we ask, who am I? When we're in the middle of conflict, when we're in pain. Who is it that's having this conflict? Who is it that's having this pain? Very often. But we're going to do that tonight. So awareness. Imagine with me that I told you I was going to be talking about the endless ocean, I believe, of peace. And that's all you are. You are only peace and creativity. That's all you are. Everything else, that's like a footnote. It's like a good note. But it's not the author. So as you're imagining, what would being in the endless ocean of peace, the eternal ocean of peace, be like? Imagine a big ocean. And the ocean is the ocean. And then now imagine a jar. And dipping the jar into the ocean. So you have to ask yourself, is the water in the jar different than the ocean? It's the same water. But it has a barrier now, right? something that defines it, it makes it a little bit of ocean. That's what you think, just a little bit of ocean. But you're the whole ocean. If you're the jar, you're also the whole ocean. All of the qualities within the jar is the same as in the ocean. But you have this structure, this definition that says, I'm now a jar. You're not a jar. You're the ocean. We get really caught up in duality. We get caught up in duality between the subject and the object. That's what duality is all about, the subject and the object. The subject is the one that's doing the action, and the object is where the action takes place. So, for example, Patricia is experiencing. Patricia is the subject. What is Patricia doing? She's experiencing. That's the object. What's the big deal about Patricia experiencing? You see how funny that is? I mean, it's interesting, but it's not everything. Is Patricia Bonnie experiencing? No. And yes. Or Lynn experiencing? No. And yes. You know, when we try to think about what creator is or what spirit is, we have to think about how we want to know that. And the only way, on some level, we can know that are through the senses, which are very, very limited. And they're very, very convincing. I mean, the one who created, it's brilliant. The one who created is also forgetting itself in physical form sometimes. That's okay. Imagine you like this. If you lived your whole life, all of us did, just right in here, right in this room, this area, this was our whole world. Everything took place right in this. And when we looked out, we didn't know that there was a world outside. We saw these things. We don't know what they are. They're green, and they have brown. And there's funny things. It's like a little TV stuff going on out there. But see, we never go outside, so we really don't know what's happening. We can only sense as much as we can sense. We might hear something, we might see something, but we're very limited. So when we look out and we look at the heavens and we go, well, there's a star and a galaxy, that's interesting. I mean, how many of you have been to the stars and the galaxies? Anybody been this week? Anybody took a trip out there this week? No, huh? In your consciousness maybe, right? But what you know by your consciousness is not what you know by your senses. It goes beyond that. Do you understand? So trying to understand Creator is like us with our senses, like never leaving this room. We don't know what more is. We just have noticed with our senses that there's more. And we would get very brought up between subject and object. We create a duality that keeps us trapped. We say, this is what's really happening because I feel it. But who's the I that's asking? The I that's asking is the subjective I, the Patricia. It's not the big I, the big self, creator. Creator's not interested, particularly. Creator knows. The creator in you, the light in you knows exactly what's happening, that you've never been apart from the ocean. That you get awfully invested in your experiences, and they are interesting experiences, and they're very convincing, and they cause you a whole range of emotion and commotion, right? So hearing that, taking that into your being, your big being tonight. Who's listening tonight? Who's the one that's listening? As your mind goes back and forth, who is it that's hearing these words, speaking to itself? Like I said, there's only one in the room. Notice that moment of silence there, as that goes into the deepest part of your knowing. Why worry about non-duality? The Advaita Vedantists and Hinduism have done this forever. Why is that even interesting? Our stories seem really, really interesting until they're not, right? Listen, if you're starting to feel like, oh my goodness, my eyelids are kind of getting heavy, don't fight that. You can listen with your eyes closed, it's okay. Sometimes what happens is Spirit speaks like this, it dulls all of your other senses, okay? So it's not uncommon for you just to feel like, don't fight that, you are, okay? It's okay. And then when your eyes are open, you're still here. Just relax. Just let your vibration match the vibration of truth. Why would the Advaita Vedantists care about duality or non-duality? Well, because enough people have asked, why am I here? Why is this happening to me? Because you're the author, you've chosen this, you've done a good job. There are no victims. There are no victims. That's why compassion, true compassion, can look kind of cold. You can be held by Spirit, but Spirit already knows, I mean, there's only one. There's nothing wrong. So if you want to be in the wave of emotion, you should, because you are. It's okay. You don't have to be. You are completely a choice to remember who you are. Completely. Everything you think, everything you engage in, is by choice. But your thoughts can only take you so far. That's it. They can only take you so far. And then you just have to let go. And then you just have to remember. And when you remember, you get a whole different experience. You get to be in the physical form as an awakened one. Awakened ones are never victims. They don't see the world that way. They don't see things as bad or good. They see things as a varieties of experience. They don't judge. Because what the eye sees and the senses get are simply an appearance of things that the limited human understanding can only go so far. It can only go maybe to the doorway of the room. It can't get outside the room. Only your consciousness and remembering who you are can take you outside the room. that consciousness is not the one who has the personal story. So why would you want to be awakened here? Because it's an amazing experience. It's amazing to know that you are unlimited and still be in the physical form. There's a Chinese writer that was born around probably 369 BC. And he was a Taoist. He did a lot of writing for the Taoist canon books, along with Lao Tzu. And he wrote a collection of stories I remember reading in college for one of my religious studies classes. It was the Chuangzi, and his name was Zhao, Master Zhao. And he wrote this story, and the story is very quick. Something like this. Zhao dreamed that he was a butterfly. And he had this amazing dream, this amazing experience as a butterfly. And then Zhao opened his eyes and awakened. And Zhao asked himself, am I the butterfly dreaming that I'm Zhao? Or am I Zhao dreaming that I'm a butterfly? You see, it's still in duality. You have both and you are, right? Doesn't matter. If you want to be a butterfly, dreaming that you're Zhao, there you go. If you want to be Zhao, dreaming that you're a butterfly, no harm done there either. Same thing with all your human experiences. If you want to be a human, reaching for God, and dreaming that you're limited, okay. Or if you want to remember that you're God, dreaming you're having a human experience, but you're awakened, that's okay too. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But if you want to have the non-dualistic experience, then what you do is you tip the jar over and you allow the ocean waves and the water in the jar to merge together. And the jar's still there, but the ocean is all around it. The jar doesn't feel separate or alone anymore. As the ocean goes over it and through it, the jar becomes one more thing. And the ocean, that the ocean just notices and appreciates. But it doesn't have to worry about its separateness. And neither do you. There's a practice. My teacher will be here in 2 weeks. My Guruji. Rebecca's Guruji, Shriyam. And he teaches Kriya Yoga. I'm not going to do Kriya Yoga. I'm not teaching you Kriya Yoga. I'm not a Kriya Yoga master. But I will tell you that in any of the Kriya or Kundalini practices, it's about the serpent of energy, the God-realized energy that's at the root chakra. And as it unwinds, and you know, in the West, we like to have everything yesterday. If you say to, you ask a Hindu or a Hindu teacher, how long will it take for me to learn Kriya? They say to you, what does it matter, you're eternal? Right? You go, oh, I need to know it now. Why do you need to know it now? Why do you need to awaken your Kundalini right now? In the 60s, in the 70s, there was people that actually kind of, well, some of them lost their mind because they awakened it so quickly. There's no such thing as time. Don't be in a hurry about your awakening. It's okay. Enjoy who you are. As the serpent of transformation goes up through the chakras, all the chakras are lotus petal, and they spin. But we think they spin like this. They actually spin like this. They're petaled up towards the divine. And then there's the 1,000-petaled lotus on the head. That's always in receptiveness. I am going to invite you to take a deep breath. And even if you haven't practiced this, all I want you to do is bring your attention to the 1,000-petaled lotus on your crown chakra at the top of your head. That's good. Just allow the energy. See, it's not just divine energy coming down. Here's the thing to remember. You can't help but be divine energy. So it can stream in you, but look at you. It streams out of you as well. It meets itself. You are not at lack. You've always been filled with divine energy. You can't help it. You're a being of light. With the next breath, allow that knowing to come very deep into yourself. It's powerful to sit in that knowing. In the West, we get very, very busy. We let things to overtake our consciousness. And we call this thing mind, as if there's something real to that. I mean, we can take the physical brain out, we can look at the physical brain, but the mind, where's the mind? Where is that at? You're so attached to your thoughts. What do they look like? Have you noticed that? You're so convinced by something that isn't even real. It's just in your head. It's just going in and out. Like doing a little marathon in your head. There's absolutely nothing real there. Until you outpicture it by using all of your senses to make it real. That's what you do. You take all of your thoughts and make it real through your senses. You give it life. You create it. Stop it. Stop it right now. How's that? You don't need to do that anymore if you don't want to, but if you keep, if you want to have that, it's okay. But did you just realize that? Did you just realize, listen, nice deep breath. Did you realize how at choice you were just like that? Right now. Oh my gosh. What? I don't have to believe all my thoughts? My thoughts? What? They're not running the show? I'm running the show, and let's go back. Who's asking the question? Right? Who's running the show? Is it Patricia? Is Patricia running the show for you? How many believe that I'm running the show for you all the time? Any hands? Okay. Are you running your show? How many believe they're running their show? Okay. How many believe that there's a greater consciousness that runs the show, the projector? But you didn't know that. How many are open to believing that that might be possible? That somebody else is running the show, but that it's still you, right? You know, one of the greatest things about being in physical form is that we're quite enamored with this thing called individuality. I mean, we do our hair, we want to look good, we want to feel good, we want to do particular things, smart, whatever, you know, whatever that is. We're really wrapped up in enamored with individuality. Because that's what makes this story really good. It makes it very believable. And there's a sort of fear for some people that, well, if this thing called spirit or God, whatever that is, well, is he interested in Patricia? Because Patricia'd like to know, because Patricia's been searching for it. Haven't you? Haven't you been searching for it? Searching for that connection, searching for the answers. No? I'm the only one? Okay. Good. Because there's only one in the room, right? You've been searching, right? But where's the place from that you've been searching? Who is asking the questions? Who's wondering all this? See, you got to get behind the who. Get behind the who, and then you've experienced that peace, that eternal bliss. I often say, you know, I don't care what people think about me. Many of you have heard me say that. You've heard me say it in some other ways, like, I don't give up what people think about me, right? I'm being taped, so we'd be good. I don't. It's not because I'm an uncaring person, it's just that I don't care. I don't think other people run my life. Heck, I don't think even I run my life. I don't care what I think sometimes. When you get to that place, you're not buffeted by every emotion that comes around. You're allowing yourself to go, hey, it's a cool experience. I'm going to be here X number of years. That's not who I am. Patricia can't possibly be who I am if you believe in reincarnation. I've been someone else before. So why am I so interested in Patricia? I was interested in Sally last time. It was all about Sally last time. I wasn't Sally, I was somebody else. I would never, probably ever be a Sally. It doesn't appeal to me, but you see what I'm saying? I'm playing with you, but you see what I'm saying? We take ourselves really, really seriously. We take everybody else really, really seriously. And there's only one. Any questions? Anything that's coming up for anyone? You all got it? You're gonna go out of here and like, I got this. I'm having a non-dual experience. I'm all good. Be nobody complaining. Nobody having any experience they don't want, right? Everybody's got the roadmap now. Because it's okay if you don't. It's okay if you want to go, hey, what about or this? It's okay. And as time goes on, you know, as we do these more and more, your energy will get more adjusted. should you choose to come back. Your energy will get more adjusted to satsang. You will be more awake and more aware and even more centered, because that's what satsang does. That's the energy. Right now, if you haven't been in satsang, a traditional satsang, it can feel very foreign energetically. You can feel like you're kind of told you remember that you're going off. You don't remember what part of you remembered what. Sometimes the body gets a little bit nervy. Sometimes it can just relax. The bodies are funny. There's a little universe going on inside here, and they don't know anything about Patricia. They're just blood vessels and stuff doing their work in the blood vessel world. They know that there's something bigger than themselves. They don't know what it is. And they're pretty sure, though, that they're pretty interesting in the universe, so somebody must be talking about them. And so they're true. You know, that's true. I'm talking about them today. That's the way that works. That's the way it is. Blood vessels, they do blood vessel work, right? They can't get outside of the senses of being a blood vessel. And that's what you have. But you have awareness to go with all these other things. And so that's what I'm saying, when you use your awareness, you can get outside the room. If you stay with your senses, you'll always think that there's a jar that your water is in. And I'm telling you, there is a jar. But you don't have to be attached to it. You can appreciate the jarness. You understand that? What do I always say? I say, I'm Patricia-y. Right? I can appreciate Patricia. I don't have to be attached to her. She's a pretty interesting little model. Kind of fun. Okay. So what I'm going to ask you to do before we go into our song, our final song, is I'm going to ask you to go ahead and get yourself very centered, and as much as you can, sit up straight in your chair, because you want the spine to be very straight as much as possible, for the energy to go up the spine, up through the chakras. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do, yes, we're really going to do that. I remember, some years ago before I was privy to all this, I'd be like, oh, geez, is that one of those places where they go, oh. Now I'm leading more. Be careful what you notice. Om, A-U-M. Probably next satsang I'll go into what that means if Shriyam doesn't. Om, A-U-M. It's the vibrational sound of the universe. So when you do Om, you actually raise the vibration within yourself. Doesn't matter how long you do it. Nobody's going to be hearing your individual Om, okay? Except the one. The one thinks that's okay. So you'll be allowing, I'm going to ask you to do this with your eyes closed. You're going to be allowing all of your vibration just to come out through the Om. And when we do this collectively, it's very, very powerful. Very powerful. I'm just going to wait a minute. It's okay. Victoria's having some knee problems. So as we do the Om, the energy will also go to Victoria's knee. When you do Om, it's a very interesting thing. I was doing Om today, and then I went outside, and the airplanes were going Om overhead. Everything was going, oh. The dog barking was going, oh, oh, oh. Everything goes on. That's the vibration of the universe. Okay, here we go. Do this with me. Come in through an open door. We've made an opening as we came into satsang today. And we've sat in this place as one together. After the final song, you should go out through the opening and energetically close that for yourself. Otherwise, some of the things that may happen if this is new to you, it will have a very energetic sort of restless night. So, enter the Holy of Holies and leave the Holy of Holies with that same understanding, carrying that knowledge and that remembrance with you. I invite you just to go ahead and close your eyes as you listen to Rebecca. Thank you. Namaste.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Shri Ram, Jai
stay awake. Okay, take a nice deep breath. Bring yourself back into this room that you will walk out of tonight. You are not stuck in there. Thank you. Yes, Denise. Oh. Oh. That is the first dearest.
Right behind you.
We always do it every time.
What's that? Yes, I always do it, yes. So I was doing Om today in meditation, and I have this spirit cat. I mean, she's real, but we call her my spirit cat because she came to me in a very interesting way. But anyway, she was off doing her own thing, and I start oming, right? And she's like, "What?" And she came over, and she sat on me, and she looked, and then she's like purring, like. The moment that I stopped, she was out of it. She was out of it. So listen, thank you so much. This is our new first Wednesday of the month format. As we do this more together, you know, if this was a little uncomfortable for you tonight, if you decide to come back, it'll become more comfortable. And you know, your consciousness and awareness will open more and more, and then you'll be like, wait a minute, Patricia, you know, I need some clarification on things, and so that may happen when we do that. That's okay. It is the time during satsang to ask me those, not after. Okay? Because I hold energy for that during satsang, for that to be answered in satsang. So you don't want to ask me after, you know, you can ask me next month. Or you may have figured it out by then. Okay, namaste, thank you. Please, let's have social hype. Oh, by the way, on your chairs are announcements for both the events at Sacred Space and CFIAs.
Thank you.